All right, welcome back. Week 11, Dirty 30 Pod. We got Dev and Rody in the house. What's up, boys?
Hola, let's go Vikes.
Yeah, Randy Ma.
Randy Moss action. Devi, you're in space, so that's awesome. Me, I'm just in my basement. So there's that. Dirty Thursday night game on. Well, Ravens Bengals tonight. So excited to watch that. A lot of good fantasy players on there tonight. Had some trades to talk about too. Things got a little weird of the last week. So we'll kind of start off with the three trades that took place, and then our show today is just to kind of rank our top five keepers. So everyone sound good?
Works for me.
Love it.
Works for everyone. All right.
Yep.
Last Saturday we got two trades. One involving myself. I got Jalen Hurts, gave up Tua and Sam Laporta. What do you guys think about that? Give out trade grades, talk about it a little bit. What are thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, was it hard to give up Laporta? I mean, that's
Kinda. He's a good keeper.
He's kind of a stud.
He's a good
Was
keeper.
he drafted?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He
13,
was. He was
13.
13th rounder, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Hard to give up Laporta. Wanted to see what it's like to have a stud quarterback. That's not usually my strategy, right? So I think Hurts and hopefully Taysom Hill will outscore the latter, but it's close, it's a close one for sure.
It is. I didn't mean as far as Craig's roster is concerned, I don't really know if Laporta is a keeper for him. So
True.
kind of from his perspective of it, almost kind of why I would take Hurts over Tua, and then unless he plans on keeping Laporta, that's his decision, but don't really understand from that perspective.
I think the keeper aspect was definitely involved. I think he plans to at least think about keeping Laporta. So,
well, who's his? He didn't really have a tight end. Well, he had
Goddard, who will go on IR here sometime soon.
So it kind of helps his team too. He's still in the mix a little bit, so
for sure he's in as of right now. He's the 5 seed right now. So yeah, I thought it was a fair trade. Yeah, I'm excited to have Jalen Hurts on my team though. That's for sure.
Don't blame you.
10 minutes later, Craig had another trade. Craig was quiet so far this year, and then he went bang bang. So he got Barkley, got Mitchell. Oh, got the Mitchell from Ravens. Sorry, I went to Elijah Mitchell. The Ravens running back. Then he gave up Raheem Mostert and Addison. This one confused me a little bit, right? Just with where Tyler is currently at. I think he went for it, right? He kind of went for it that week and ended up losing, and now he's kind of out of it. But Barkley or Mostert or Addison aren't really keepers in my eyes. But how do you guys kind of see that? I guess
I'm surprised Craig got rid of Addison.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of his boy. But
yeah,
me personally, he did reach out to me about Barkley. I want nothing to do with that Giants offense. Absolutely nothing.
That was going to be my next point. Yeah,
I'm not saying Saquon's not a bad player, but that team is awful, and it's not worth it for the rest of the year, especially as a playoff team as Craig might be. That's kind of a liability that's something you would have to think about rather than just a position lock.
Yeah, you would have rather had Mostert the rest of the year than Barkley.
100%.
Yeah, I would take the offense.
Okay.
Take the offense. It's just a better. Tommy DeVito's not doing. Who is that guy?
Darius Slayton and Jalen Hyatt or Tyreek and Jalen Waddle.
The offense is so bad that just you were saying,
it's close. It's close.
Saquon's a good player, but yeah,
it's close. I don't disagree. It was a weird trade for sure.
The biggest thing for me was that he was, I thought dude just loved Addison and was going to hang on to him. So that was.
Do you think he got scared because Jetta's coming back?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I think that and Achan's coming back. So I get kind of getting rid of those guys, but I agree getting Barkley.
That's true. Yeah.
They're all close. That's all close. It was just kind of a weird trade. So yeah, I saw it and I was like, okay, sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a dumpster trade. It just
Yeah.
Trading one thing for the other. It's straight, kind of straight swap, 5 for 5.
For sure. For sure.
I mean, on paper, is Barkley the best player? Technically.
Technically.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big trade this week. Christian gives up DeAndre Swift, Trey McBride, Jalen Waddle, and then Eric gives up Jamar Chase and Kyle Pitts. So big boy players kind of be on the move here. Eric's going for it, right? He gave up a stud. He got 3 pretty good players. Like he still sees himself as a chance at making playoffs. It's kind of how I saw that trade. What are you guys' thoughts on all of it?
It solidifies him maybe not finishing last in the losers bracket.
Yeah, true.
Like I think that way too.
Also true.
I don't understand why Pitts is still a trade deadline candidate all the time. Dude, I don't know if dude's ever going to start for him, but
no,
good on you for having him on the roster.
I'm sure it was just a throw in, right? Yeah,
just
a little throw in. Yeah, and like getting Jamar Chase to pair with CeeDee Lamb and who else you got? Justin Jefferson. Like, yeah, studs all around, man. So looks like we just had another trade here, boys. Wait a second. What just took
Wow.
place?
Yeah, that's a big one.
Looks like Debbie and I have been talking. I gave up Garrett Wilson, 12th round keeper. I think 11th or 12th round keeper.
Well,
going into next year.
Yep.
And I got AJ Brown. So I am also going for it. Debbie's in a different spot. He's loading up on keepers, and we've been in talks for a little while now. We're both sad and also we're both happy all at the same time.
Super sad.
Yeah. So I get to
not next year for Dev.
Then not next year.
That's what it is. Just
kind of where he's at, right?
2% playoff percentage is probably unfortunately not going to cut it. So
is that where you're at?
But he also, I mean, it more or less also solidifies you got the 50-50 chance now. I mean, AJ Brown was what, a nice 20 points per week for you. Losing that, Garrett Wilson is not doing that for you.
He could get close, maybe.
He's been 12.
You're in outer space.
He's been 12 points. I'm with you.
I mean, I'm super excited to start 2 Jets on my team every week. It's gonna be great.
At this point, it's just not getting last, right? So we got to keep her moving a little bit. We talked about we're getting in our top 5 keepers. Trade deadline is November 29th at noon. Players that need to go back next year are Travis Etienne, Jalen Waddle, and Chase. That's it. Everyone else is keepable at least 1 year, right? And then we switched our punishment a little bit too, right? So that's another reminder that punishment this year will be a 50-50 chance at $100 of booze towards the next year's draft, or 50-50 chance of only keeping 1 keeper. So there's that. It's big this year, right? It is. It's big. Yeah, man, no other real way to say that. So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to kind of dive into it here. We're going to see where we're at keeper wise. This list was hard for me to make. It was a top 5 keepers. I got 10 on my list, just to kind of throw that out there, right? Let's start up backwards, kind of 5 to 1. Kyle, who is your 5th best keeper going into 2024?
So this one was actually really hard for me. I have a very elaborate list of players that I like. Nice. Some like kind of future, like the crystal ball kind of stuff. Does their position get better? Kind of like what Pollard happened with me last year, right? Once they lose Zeke, then Pollard is really good. Yeah. So it's kind of hard for me to rank it. Starting with 5. Mm-hmm. I guess I don't know. I went 1, 2, and 3. I had kind of those on there, but 5. Let's go with. I'll throw Tank Dell out there. I think he has a chance to be a top 25 wide receiver going into next year's draft. In the 14th round, you can't really. That's a pretty good value for a player that would go in the top 5 rounds maybe. So that's not that worse. That's not that bad right there.
Love that.
I think last time you were on, I said Tank Dell is booty, and I am wrong. I think Tank Dell is awesome, and I've changed my mind a little bit. He's not on my top 5. He's not in my honorable mentions, but he was like a short list, right? Like he's kind of in that next group for me. Tank Dell in
He's
the
in
14th. Tank Dell in
he's
the
in my
14th is awesome.
honorable.
Honorable
14th
mentions?
round. He's definitely in my honorable. Yeah.
I dig it, Debbie. That's awesome, buddy. I dig it. He is yeah, he looks very good at football, right? Let's just kind of leave it at that.
Right.
Debbie, who's your 5th best keeper?
I'm saying this name. I've got a few. Tank was one of them that I was going to put at 5, maybe. I've got a couple guys. I can't justify, although I think they're great picks, but I can't justify keeping a tight end ever. Oh, this is tough. And it's probably a little bit on the higher end, but I think Zay Flowers is going to be a guy. And in the 8th round, I don't think you can go wrong. So that's who I'm going with at number 5.
Honorable mention for me. I love it. Tank Dell is on the rise up for me, and Zay Flowers is kind of on the rise down for me, unfortunately. I think like on our midseason awards, like Zay Flower was like, hell yeah, the guy that I needed going into next year, and like he's been kind of quiet lately, but yeah, I mean definitely honorable mention, top 10 keeper for me for sure going into next year. Kyle, on your list at all?
Zay, yeah, he made it. Just a little low for me. Didn't quite make the honorable mention part, but he was definitely someone that stood out as there's some value there.
For sure. Okay. Not even honorable mention. I dig it. I dig it. I dig it. My 5 is who's my 5? I got Ken Walker. 6th round. I know Charbonnet's there. He's just been a stud, man. He's been solid. He will be kept again by Craig. Yeah, I think he's the 1A to the 1B, and like, yeah, he's a very good football player. So, Walker on your guys' list at all?
Yeah, I got him in the top 5. You can put him at number 4 for me.
Cool.
He was a HM for me.
I will mention. Dig it.
He should be a top 2 or top 2 round pick in the 6th. That's pretty good value.
That's what I'm thinking, right? He's like probably middle to back end of the 2nd rounder next year. So
yep.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Kyle, we got your 4. Debbie, who's your 4?
My number 4 is Devonta Smith.
Oh yeah. 10th round, correct?
Yep.
Honorable mention for me. Hard to keep him off this list. Kyle?
I didn't quite see that one on there, but yeah, no, you can't. Yeah, he's 100% worth honorable mention. He's not in my top 3, but he's 100% right there.
Yeah, for sure. He is like 6 on my board, right? So
yeah.
he's right there. He's the man. Had kind of like a quiet year, and still has kind of had a quiet year.
He just seems so boomer bust. That's the only hard part with him is it's either him or AJ that usually goes off. And if AJ goes off, he's candidate for what, 6 to 8 points.
Yeah, and I think like Goddard's down, so maybe Smith kind of gets a little upkeep, and I'm sure Smith will be traded before next Tuesday. Is kind of what I'm saying. Next Tuesday, I'm sure he'll be on someone else's roster. Yeah, he's the man, dude. Still has one more keep left. My 4, I got Olave. Also kind of a weird year, right? Derek Carr just, I don't know why he's not really looking that way, but Chris Olave is the man. He's been awesome. He's a great player. I'd be happy to have him going into next year. He is my 4th best keeper going into next year. Anyone else's list? Anyone else's top 5?
You can put honorable mention. I think he's right there as well for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think I spaced over that one. Oops.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, it's there's a lot of good keepers, right?
Because I think I would rather have Olave over Smith now that I think about it. But
that's where I was, right? Just with AJ Brown in town.
But my bad. I spaced on that.
It's absolutely like picking nits, though, right?
100%.
They're both great. They're both great players. Kyle, back to you, man. Number 3.
All right, this is. God, there's a lot of good players here.
There are.
Get a little spicy. but he had some injury issues a little earlier. But I think I'm going to do David Montgomery right here in the 7th round.
Ooh.
That dude,
I love that.
that dude, when he's healthy and he's there, the him and Jahmyr Gibbs, he's pretty freaking good. And Gibbs, obviously, in the 2nd is not keeper really worthy at that point. But Montgomery in the 7th, I think there's value there for him.
I don't disagree. Not a honorable mention for me, but short list after that, man.
I agree. Yeah.
He's been awesome. When healthy, he's the man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Debbie, number 3.
Mr. Miami himself, the A chain. I think
that
I would-
is who I got at 3
I
as well.
would love to ride the lightning with that guy. So
That is who I got at 3 as well. I would have loved to have Christian on to ask if he was even like touchable, right? Like, is he tradable? We'll see, I think.
I couldn't even get him myself. So
A-Chain's going to be my 2nd, in all honesty. I think he's
untouchable.
Lightning in a bottle that he is in the 11th. That's more than a willing keeper for the 11th round. That's a perfect one.
Yes, it is. I mean, I think he's my number 1 guy. I'm excited to watch like the rest of the year, right? He is yeah, I mean, let's see how things go, right? It is 4 of the most wonderful games I've ever seen, and I just want to kind of see more, right? He's awesome. So, Kyle, we are gonna have differing 1s and 2s, man. Wonder if it's just like, hey, I don't like the player, or if it's like, hey, I just maybe missed someone. So, Debbie, who's your 2?
Possible.
Yeah, for sure. Debbie, who's your 2?
Just strictly based on round wise, I guess. Not to toot my own horn here, but I'm going ARSB. The Sun God in the 7th is a pretty good keeper, I think.
Put him there for me, Matt. That's my number 1 too.
He is my 1.
Yep.
He's been awesome, man.
He's like what, wide receiver 4?
He's been awesome. Like I had my doubts, right? I don't know why I doubted him, but I had my doubts, and yeah, he is my number 1. I'll fill in my number 2. I had Garrett Wilson as my number 2. 12th rounder. I just think he's really good, and hopefully Rodgers is actually playing football next year.
You can put him honorable mention for me because he's made my short list too. I just, what is Rodgers going to be 41 next year coming back from an Achilles? Like, he depends on that.
Yeah. No, I get it. Debbie, is
number
that your
1?
Wilson?
Yep.
Well, you have number 1 and number 2 going into next year.
Shiny new toy.
I dig it, buddy. I dig it. I'll fill out my honorable mentions, and kind of everyone else can kind of do the same. It was hard not to have Jonathan Taylor in the 4th round. It was hard not to have Kamara in the 4th round. And then who am I missing? Pollard in the 7th.
8.
8.
Or no, wait, next year goes up around. Is that right?
Wherever he was placed. No, he does not go up around. If he was 8th rounder this year, it was
8. Yeah, he's 8 next year.
Yep.
Yeah. Franchise tag guy, right? So kind of just want to see where it's at. Kamara could certainly be cut, owed a lot of money. Jonathan Taylor, he just got paid, right? He's there. So 4th rounder, that's a great keeper. Yeah, and no qualms, all great keepers, all great rounds. So Kyle, any other honorable mentions?
Yeah, so honorable mention for me. I know I'm the owner of Pollard, but he's got the lull. There's something about like he needs a power back with him, so I'm really not kind of on that train right now.
Sure.
Sitting there, one thing that's sneaky to me, and I think he actually can kind of hold with it. And I had him last year, and I told Marcus about it at the draft. But Brian Robinson Jr., the number 4 running back right now in the 8th round, I can kind of see him holding value again going into the next year. Maybe he's a 2nd or 3rd round running back, but in the 8th, that's some pretty good value.
I had noticed that too.
Yep, it's a great one.
And then I guess the last one, I guess I'll go on my team for this one. I think Pacheco in the 6th is pretty decent. I think Pacheco can rise up there to get up to pretty high. I know this year even Tanner was kind of worried that he didn't get, or he's kind of like, damn, I should have kept him. Just the running back for the Chiefs offense, right? Andy Reid's running back. Everybody's always wanted that in fantasy.
Yep.
So I think that's not that worse in the 6th round.
Yeah, he is solid, right? Probably a 3rd rounder next year, and like 3 rounds of value, and like tied to the Chiefs. Always good things, man. I dig it. Debbie, any other names? Any other people, or kind of similar names?
I was, both the rookie tight ends in the 13th. You can't go wrong with that. That's not who I'm going to put. I don't want to put that. Nope.
Okay.
That's who maybe I thought about putting. I think one that's really overlooked here is Michael Pittman in the 8th round. Number 1 guy. AR will be, who's in 11th round, by the way, and available if anybody wants him. Back next year. I think that could be a real 1-2 punch there. So, and in the 8th round, that's a steal of a deal for a wide receiver 1 in him. And then, I love the JT, the Kamara. Brian Robinson was a great one that I was looking at. I'm happy that you put that on there, Roddy.
Yeah.
Nico Collins in the 11th. CJ Stroud is cooking. I know he's hurt right now, and you got Tank Dell there too, but I think he can make them both work, and they're not running the ball really. I mean, they did with Singleton last week, but the dude's throwing so much and both can produce. So Collins in the 11th is not terrible. So
it's not.
I guess then there's 3 names that I like to throw out. They didn't quite make honorable mention, but
I dig it.
I think Jalen Warren in the 11th, Tajay Spears in the 12th, and Ty Chandler in the 15th. They're just good to have on your roster going into the offseason. The NFL has so many moving parts with stuff like that, and I think those 3 have a really good chance of definitely being kept and out exceeding that value 100%.
Could not agree more.
Yep,
absolutely,
for sure, man. Yep, out with the old, in with the young all the time, right? Especially at running back. So I dig it. I love it. Good group. We will copy and paste it. We'll kind of put it into the group chat here. Time isn't on our side here, so I have one trash talk, and this one is for Eric. It says ESPN currently gives Eric a 19% chance at making the playoffs. Good luck, buddy.
Damn.
Well, there we go.
Good luck, buddy.
must be about the trade, I guess. I'm not too sure. So yeah. So there we are. Had talked about 3 trades, had a trade mid-show, gave out some good keepers. I'm sure more crazy things will happen in the next week and a half before trade deadline. So the 29th at noon. So Rody, thanks for filling in, buddy. Debbie, good luck. Let's go watch some Thursday night football, huh?
Absolutely.
Let's go.
That's good, boys. Talk with you later.